All right, we are almost live. Almost there. And it looks like we are now live. Hello everyone, I'm Crash, this is RTA Motorsports. Thank you so much for joining in. What we're going to be doing today is we're jumping into some RaceRoom racing experience. Let's get the chat up and going. And so I guess they announced that they have a free weekend this weekend. And that is always awesome to see because RaceRoom, they do this every so often where they have all their content free for the weekend. The title itself, if you're not familiar with it, RaceRoom Racing Experience is free. But you're very limited on the content. So you could download it, and I think you get 2 tracks. I think that's what it is now. I purchased a lot of the content already. But you get 2 tracks and you get a few cars. And you could try it. You could race online. You could race against other people. And it's a lot of fun. It really is a lot of fun. And from there, you could purchase whatever tracks, whatever cars you want. Or you could go through and just buy everything if you want to. You could literally buy everything. And at that point, once you buy everything, if they come up with anything else in addition to what you already purchased, then you still have to purchase those individual items a la carte on top of that. But we have a free weekend, and we're just going to kind of go through and have some fun. They're really, to me, well known for their 1992 DTM cars, and as well as just their DTM cars in general. Their newer ones, you know, 2015s and whatnot. They're really good in that respect. That's kind of, for me, when I think RaceRoom Racing Experience, I think DTM, and I think their 1992 DTM cars are freaking phenomenal on their modeling and all that. So we have the motion up and running. I haven't checked to make sure that it worked, but it did hook into the title as soon as I turned it on. So it should work. If not, then I'm putting on these seatbelts for no apparent reason. And all right, here we go.
RTA Motorsports.
All right, so now you can see what I'm saying. Let's make sure everything. Sometimes when I jump into RaceRoom Racing, well, not RaceRoom, I'm sorry. Sometimes when I jump into OBS, the delays that I set up, because we're looking through our DSLR camera right now, sometimes the delays that I set up are not in sync, so I have to go out and go back into OBS Studio. A little weird. If any of you stream, let me know if you have that issue as well. Kind of a little oddity. But, yeah. Let's see what's going on in here. Let's go to the store. And let's see if there's any news on here. Sometimes they put the news on here. Actually, let's go to their portal, because it doesn't actually say anything on here, which is strange. Normally it would. Maybe their portal. Nope, nope. Oh well, let's go to single player. We'll go to single event. And actually, you can see that our last race that we did was a 1992. Let me make sure that I mute this TV that we're using for our... Because last time, while we were streaming, we had this crazy humming noise coming through the television. I couldn't hear it because these headphones were completely isolating me from it. But all of you heard it, and I apologize about that. That must have been pretty darn loud. Let's see... Let's see if we actually have everything. I read that they're doing it this weekend. It might not be active until tomorrow. It might not be active until tomorrow. Last time they did it, I think it was open and ready on Friday, but looks like we have everything. We're just kind of going through here and there. Yeah, it looks like we have everything so far. Just surprised that he didn't say it on their store opening screen, because it normally would. Well, if you never purchased anything in here, definitely go through and test it. See if you have everything as well. Should be starting today, but I might be wrong there. But there isn't. Let's see if we actually have this Audi. This is one of their newer vehicles. Go to GT3. Nope, nope. I'm sorry. There we go, GT3. And yeah, it looks like we may have everything. I think that's the new R8 there. You can see the Porsche 911 GT3R. But yeah, this should be it should be active right now. But we're not going to be racing that. We're going to do the old school cars, because that is one of my favorites here. We're going to do the 1992, kind of like what we did yesterday in Project Cars. I think we're going to use a Mercedes. I think that's where our favorite is, actually. And I like this color scheme. And race, we'll do the race. We'll do 15 laps. And it's going to be random. You can see everything we have here. Adaptive AI, 24 other cars, visual damage realistic, physics models get real. Hopefully the H pattern mode is going to be mapped, because every so often going into this title, if I haven't been in it for a while and there's been a lot of updates, the H pattern mode for some reason won't. So if you have any questions regarding the headset that we're using the Samsung Odyssey, which is using the higher resolution panels, much like you would find on the Vive Pro or anything like that. Definitely let me know, and I'm going to go through real quick. And I'm going to go to RaceRoom's website, make sure that we have our dates correct. Yep, it's on their Twitter. So it actually starts tomorrow. So the 24th and 25th. I guess we just have all the content now. aware that we had completely everything, but it's announcing tomorrow and the next day that they're going to be running a free weekend. So this is kind of like a PSA, I guess you could say. Tomorrow and the next day, if you want to try anything you possibly can in RaceRoom, definitely go and give it a shot. On their Twitter, it says the 24th and 25th. I thought it was starting today, but then again, that kind of wouldn't make sense because it's not the weekend. But yeah, 24th and 25th, tomorrow and the next day, free weekend for RaceRoom. Make sure you jump in. And we're going to celebrate that by jumping into some RaceRoom today. Kind of wonder how this headset's going to work in RaceRoom, being that we have the increased resolution. Project Cars 2 is actually worked really, really well. I could already tell we're going to have to reset the head position when we get in the car. Yep, that's not going to work. Let's see if we could map. You could see just like we're looking through ourselves right now. Let's go to control settings, and actually we're gonna have to move the body a little bit. Let's see. So camera, nope. Reset position there. And I'm not sure this might only be for like replays. It's actually not mapping that. Okay. Seems to have froze. Come on now. I hope it didn't freeze, but it's oh, there we go. Let's see if that worked, if that button there worked. No. Nope, it didn't work. We gotta move the body position. Control settings. Maybe it's on the primary function. Might be. No, it's not. Alright, secondary function. There we go. That's what I'm looking for right here. Adjust seat forward. Adjust seat backward. Up. We're gonna have to restart the session because down. There we go. All right, so that's gonna make life a lot easier because right now the cars are about to just take off. Another thing I'm noticing too is this tile is actually really quiet. I don't know why it's so darn quiet. Let's see, let's Windows key Y. Hopefully the audio is going to sound better at that level there. Seemed like it was really darn quiet. All right, let's restart that one last time. That feels much better. Terrible start. Looks like we're starting 17th. Whoa! Big crash. We got nailed from behind real hard. That's not gonna work. And hopefully the audio levels are somewhat sounding good. Let me know what the audio sounds like. I don't remember the AI being so darn aggressive. Much better start that time. Hopefully we don't get punted like we just did. Very close. Got the AI on our tail. So, as far as performance is going, we're actually not having any sort of issue at all. It's running really smooth. Really, really smooth. We're 12th now. Can actually, without a doubt, run some super sampling on here without an issue. That was my fault. I wasn't expecting AI to be at a complete stop right there. I looked up for a second. Split second, he was stopped right in front of me. The lead cars are, they're really moving out there. Oh, slight tag on the wall. More of a scrape than anything. You really gotta save the tires. Oh, I almost got a successful pass up ahead. Almost. Come on, come on, come on, get out of the way! We really lose time there, because I don't want to hit that wall. You can see that Audi behind us really starting to catch up. But I got him in the twisties. Oh no! And I messed that up. Couldn't quite get around him. Whoa. Spun the tires going into second gear. Gotta try to stay in his draft. Went really wide there to avoid collision. I don't know how the AI is able to make that turn. Getting flashed at by the car behind. love that. In that section, we just spin second gear. Kick the tail out. It's gonna be so nice when we get out of 3 Degrees of Freedom platform. Three seconds behind the car ahead. It's the only way it can make that turn. It seems like the AI can just stay in it. Almost got the wall there. Lost a bunch of time. Getting hit from behind. The rear of the car is starting to get a little loose. Oh, no. Back down to 3 seconds, 3.7, 3.8. A little bit better. That was a light let off. Oh no. Definitely took that way too hot. Go, go, go! messed that up big time. I was getting too excited. I was possibly catching up to them. They are quick, though, let me tell you. They are quick. Car felt like it didn't want to turn there. Checkered flag. I can't believe that was that many laps. That flew by. Well, we finished, whew. That absolutely flew by. The SMPC, what's up? How you liking the Odyssey? To be honest with you, I'm absolutely loving it. There's some things here and there that are not necessarily perfect. And a lot of it comes down to like fine tuning or initial setup. With the Vive, with a lot of these titles, I find when I first jump in, the menu screen's right in front of you. With this here, when I first jump in, sometimes the menu screen's like behind me and way low. So you have to make sure you bind the button to reset head mount display. And you saw like when we first jumped into the first race here, we were kind of out of the body all the way back. When I resetted my VR head display, my head position I should say, we were still outside of the body way too far back. So I had to bind buttons to move the position inside the cockpit. Once we did that, it was all well and good and all fine. Lumos Hard Killer, well, you didn't know RaceRoom had VR support. Yes, in order to use VR support, I think it's, you type in under launch options, you make sure you cannot launch it in VR theater. And in theater mode, you uncheck that, and then under launch options, you put dash VR, and then you can put like a space 1.0, 1.2, 1.3. Whatever you put in that 1.0, that's no super sampling. 1.1 and above is all super sampling. So you don't necessarily have to set super sampling in your VR headset. You could set super sampling just for that game itself, which is pretty darn cool. All right, so let's jump into another event. I can't believe how fast that went. Let's actually make sure we can. All right. We'll do one more event. That was way too much fun. And let's do GT3. I want to use that new Audi that they got. Oh, I accidentally selected the Bentley Continental GT3 car. Don't want that. Come on. Why is my mouse kind of freezing there? Not cool. What the heck happened here? Something happened and we ended up... That was very strange. We ended up going out to Steam, I mean not Steam, Windows Home. And now we're back in Steam VR. So that was a little bit odd. I don't know if it disconnected, reconnected, but we're still in the game, so nothing really bad there. Wanted to try the LMS, but we might actually... Oh man, decisions. Yeah, let's just try the new R8 LMS. Let's see what cars we have here. Oh, that's pretty cool. And the track... kind of want to do we'll do the Nordschleife, or the Nordschleife, I should say. Laps. We'll do like 2 laps. Nothing too crazy. And there we go. All right, let's give it a shot. Let's see how the performance works. 24 cars on the Nordschleife. We got GT3 style racing. Should be cool. I gotta wipe down these lenses. That's the only thing. You're on the same boat as me. The SMPC says, same boat as me, going to pick up an Odyssey after Vive Pro pricing. Have you tried it at night? Heard the Odyssey needs a well-lit room. Actually, last night, not last night, was it last night? The night before, I was up till about 4 a.m. Doing this. I was trying different things. We didn't have our studio light on. We just had normal room light. So I just have this one light up in the middle of the room, like a normal room light, nothing crazy. And it seemed to do just fine. The main thing is make sure that you plug it in the USB into a good 3.0 port on your motherboard, or get an expansion card. Because I plugged it into my USB 3.0 on the front of the case, and the tracking was all kind of crazy, and the headset kept cutting in and out. Kept getting this flickering. And I thought the headset was bad until I, read online on Reddit. Some people were saying you have to make sure you plug it into a really good USB 3.0, or if you have a USB 3.0 that says SS next to it, that's super speed. That's actually the best one to plug it into. I plugged it into that on my motherboard on the back of my computer. No issues. And like I said, the first night I got it, I was up till 4 in the morning. It was dark outside, obviously. Only one room light on. No issues with tracking. And you really don't need to worry about, like, turning lights off so you don't get light bleed in here, because I have no light bleed whatsoever. Completely sealed off from the world. I tried the blue, which is like an ocean experience, and there's one where it puts you in like a whale carcass, like you're inside of a skeleton, like a, you just see ribs above you, and you're looking at these fish swim around through the ribs. But it starts off pitch black, and it was creepy because it was absolutely pitch black. So yeah, no light bleed. That was a good test to see if I had any. Today's a little bit better with the nose cup. I know I said I wasn't fond of it, but today I guess I'm a little bit more used to it. It doesn't bother me as much today. So let's make sure that the paddle shifters are going to be working. Nope. All right, so we're gonna have to make sure we bind those. Control settings, primary functions, and I probably have it to here, depending on the car I'm driving. I think the Audi TT Cup cars, if I'm thinking about the right car, I think it uses like a sequential shift down here. But let's see. Shift up, shift down. I wish there was multiple controls for shift up, shift down, so that way you could put your sequential shifter and your paddles. You can use either or. I mean, you're not going to use them both at the same time, so it's not like there's going to be any issues with that. But I wish titles would do that, so you don't have to keep going through and remapping things when you want to use one thing for sequential versus another. Hopefully the audio sounds good. It's at a decent level. Come on, Camaro. So this is actually our first time using this Audi. And we're throwing it at the green hell, so you can probably expect that there's going to be some incidences. The braking feels good. Performance in the headset feels normal, feels good. I think Windows really got their version of asynchronous rear projection down pretty good, because in Steam VR we have everything off, but it's got to be doing some sort of reprojection with the increased resolution, and titles like this one that I would normally have issues with my normal Vive, I don't have any issues with the Samsung Odyssey. Just seems to run smooth. Also, just make sure you're running the if you're running an NVIDIA card. Oh no! Oh no! Ah! We have any? Oh geez, I didn't even see that car. Let's restart. That was a major event. What I was trying to say was, if you're using an NVIDIA graphics card, run the drivers from 388.59. They're the last ones that work with VR really well. I tried the new drivers, a 392 or whatever it is. Experience a lot of stuttering, and it's not only me. If you look on Reddit, there's hundreds of posts about what drivers to use for VR right now. Just for some reason, NVIDIA has issues with their drivers and them running smooth in VR headsets, especially with iRacing and Dirt Rally. I notice it the most. But definitely big increase in frame rate once I stepped back to the 388. Just make sure you completely uninstall your graphics drivers before you install older ones. There's something called DDU. You might want to look into that. That's how I ensure that my graphics drivers are completely uninstalled before I go back to an older version. This is phenomenal. This really is 24 cars on the Nordschleife. It's smooth. It looks pretty good. I mean, there's still, with RaceRoom, more so than any other title I've experienced, it doesn't look as crisp and as clean. Definitely going to need super sampling in the game launch options on for it to really take advantage of this headset. It doesn't look like it's being pixelated through like a screen door effect. I'm getting pushed by this BMW Z4. It just looks like the game itself is running at a really low resolution. But this is the same super sampling I would run with my Vive. So I just wanted a apples to apples comparison. I'm sure with super sampling maybe at 1.3 or even upwards amount of 1.5, it would still run pretty acceptable when you're not streaming. Obviously, when you're streaming, big tax. Oh, car's going off the track here. It's very taxing on the system. We moved up to 19th position now. This Audi is very planted as I go through the grass there. But overall, I mean, I'm very happy with this car. I kind of wish there was some, in RaceRoom Racing Experience, that there was some crew chief or something like Project Cars type crew chief. I have heard from Project Cars 2, from Billy Strange actually, that when I was watching one of his last videos, I didn't talk to him directly, but one of his last videos, he was talking about some external app that he was using for crew chief support, and he said it was very cool. I want to try that. That sounded and looked really cool. Even though their crew chief in Project Cars 2, to me, isn't bad. It's better than not having anything at all. Like right now, I'm noticing that I kind of wish I had someone telling me car left right now, you know what I mean? Because there's definite blind spots with this car. For safety, I'm just going to let him go. All these sims got the Nordschleife looking so good. Especially in VR, you get a real sense for how vast it is. I mean, Project Cars 2 and iRacing, they got all the graffiti on the road, and it's really lively. On here, it's not so much with the small details, but the track feels the same. It looks the same scale. Obviously, they're all scanned, so they're all gonna feel the same when you're in VR, and that really lends itself to the technology that we now have at our disposal. It makes it much easier to learn a track from one sim to the other. You just jump in, you know what's coming up and what it looks like, and this feels exactly the same as it does in iRacing and Project Cars 2 and Assetto Corsa, as far as, you know, seeing how the carousel dips in and how much it dips in and the width of the track. This is so cool, this time that we live in. Now I'm just driving like a dummy. Oh, this car does not like the curbs. Get on the curbs a little bit. And it just loses it. I normally put my inside tires up on the curb a little bit. This car, you really can't touch the curbs. Oh, looks like there's a collision up here. White flag is out. See that? Even the AI can make mistakes. Now, I do gotta say, RaceRoom's AI model is very sweet. I mean, sometimes it's very reckless. I mean, as far as just slamming into you, as you saw earlier, we had to restart that race a few times. And that happens. It does happen. I mean, that's AI for you, but just, you don't see them ever snaking like one car directly behind the other and taking the exact same line. I mean, sometimes you see them be reckless with each other. You can see the BMW almost lost it in front of me, and they overdrive sometimes or put some pressure on them and they make a mistake. It just seems a little bit more human than you're really used to seeing in some other titles with their AI model, and it just makes it fun. I'm sure this car in the right hands could really do a lot of damage. Of course, we're just learning it. My paddle here is like sticking a little bit. Maybe because I don't use it enough. That's significantly harder to pull than my downshift paddle. BMW just made its moves. Moved up ahead of the Ford GT. Oh, we're getting hit from the side. Give me room. So that was just one lap. Kind of wondering, I set it for 2. I know I clearly set it for 2. So I'm kind of wondering why. Or maybe I'm setting qualifying laps. And I think I'm setting the race laps. Oh, geez. Well, that was fun. That was really cool. Falchuk says he has one himself. He loves it so much more than the Oculus. And you know, this is something that I'm glad I went with this purchase. But I wish there was more information out there to kind of lend, you know, because no one really talks about the Samsung Odyssey or the Windows Mixed Reality, which is surprising to me because I know in the beginning, just like everything else, in the beginning, there's always performance issues and everything like that. But it's actually working pretty darn good. And so, yeah, this weekend, just remember this weekend, we have a free weekend with RaceRoom Racing Experience. Jump in. You could try everything. So that's tomorrow and the next day, Saturday and Sunday, the 24th and 25th, depending on where you are in the world. That may be soon or that may be a little bit further from now. So yeah, check it out. RaceRoom Racing Experience is absolutely awesome. Tonight we're going to do some more racing, hopefully, if we get some free time with RaceRoom Racing Experience, and you could expect a lot more streaming with this headset. I'm Crash, this RTA Motorsports. We're going to wrap it up here. We had some fun today, and we'll see you all next time.